Good morning, students. Welcome back to my video where we'll be continuing with the chapter 7. Alright, and in this chapter 7, we have already started with the animal tissue where we have completed in the last video the epithelial tissue. Okay, so please revise it thoroughly. The types of the epithelial tissue under simple epithelial, under compound epithelial, what are the epithelial tissues and where their locations and what is their function. Okay, here in this chapter mainly what we have to learn that we have 4 animal tissues, right? In 4 animal tissue we have to learn what we have to learn in this animal tissue is their structure, their location and their function. Okay, so these are the 3 things we should learn, and for this reason I have told you in the last video that it's always useful to make a table. So make a table when we study about one tissue, and under that one tissue we find several other types of tissue. So what you can do is you make a table like for epithelial tissue, make a table, column, and then structure, location where they are found and their function. Okay, in the same manner today we will study connective tissue. Under connective tissue we will find several types of connective tissue. Okay, so make a table for connective tissue like you have previously made a table for epithelial tissue. So make a table for connective tissue and then structure, location and their function. Okay, because various types of connective tissue we'll see, like how we have seen various types of epithelial tissue, so various types of connective tissue we'll learn. Alright, so let us start with the second animal tissue, that is connective tissue. Okay, connective tissue. Now, connective tissue is the most abundantly distributed tissue in the body. Okay, throughout our body from tip to toe, okay, from head to toe, in each inch of our body, in every inch of our body, connective tissues are present. In every inch of our body, connective tissues are present. So that's why it is called that they are most abundantly distributed throughout the body. Okay, and why the name of this tissue is given so? Because of their function. They function as linking and supporting. Okay, they function as linking and supporting other tissues or organs. So if this is one organ here or one tissue here, and there is another tissue here or organ, so they will be linked by this connective tissue, right? How our lungs is linked with heart? Because lungs brings in the oxygen to our body, and this oxygen it reach out to the it reach out to the heart. Okay, so how does it reach out? It reach out through the blood. Okay, lungs gives the oxygen to blood and blood carries this oxygen to heart. So here what is blood? Blood is a connective tissue. So it connects the lungs and the heart, and from heart it will connect to the various body parts. So that's why connective tissues are the tissue which links and which supports the other tissues and organs. Between the tissues and between the organs, it makes the connection, it makes the link, it also gives support. Not only the linking but also the support it provides. Okay, and there are range of this connective tissue, different types of the connective tissue, different ranges. Some connective tissues are very soft, alright, and some are specialized, such as some flexible tissues like cartilage. They are flexible. Okay, solid and flexible, whereas bone, they are solid and rigid, they are not flexible. Okay, whereas adipose, they lie beneath our skin and they are not like a cartilage or bone. They just provide the ground substance, okay, like a shape of the body or the shape of the tissue or shape of the organ is made by this adipose tissue. Okay, it gives a framework, shape. And then we have blood. Whereas how is blood? Blood is free flowing fluid, okay, and it moves from one organ to the other organ. So you can see some of the connective tissues are soft, such as this, and some are solid and flexible, some are solid and rigid, and some are free flowing. Okay, so there are various range of connective tissue. All right. Then we have another property of connective tissue, that the cells of connective tissue, there are various cells of connective tissue which we will be learning, like chondrocytes, osteocytes, erythrocyte, leukocytes. Okay, so we will be seeing one by one as we move ahead with the types of connective tissue. So the cells of connective tissue, they secrete, they have a property of secretion. So what do they secrete? They secrete fibers. And these fibers are collagen. This can be a collagen fiber or elastin fiber. Okay, collagen or elastin fiber. So this cell secretes the fibers, and the name of such fibers are collagen fiber, elastin fiber. And the function of these fibers, what do they do? These fibers, they provide elasticity and flexibility. This type of fibers, they provide elasticity and flexibility. Okay, elasticity means no matter how much you stretch it, it will not break. Okay, the tissue can be stretchable. You can stretch it and stretch it as much as you want, but it will not break. So it will provide elasticity and flexibility. You can bend it towards downward or upward, to a right side, to a left side. Wherever you bend it, it can be bent. Okay, so that is flexibility. So this elasticity and flexibility are provided by these fibers, collagen and elastin, which is secreted by the cells of the connective tissue. Alright. Now, it also secretes, see, the cell secretes fiber, we know, and what this fiber provides elasticity and flexibility. Now, these cells of connective tissue, they also secrete the modified polysaccharides. Modified polysaccharides, which lies in between cells and fibers and acts, which lies between cells and fibers. So we know that there are connective tissue cells, connective tissue cells are there, and we know that these cells secretes, they will secrete fibers. They are secreting fibers. Fibers are thread-like structure, right? This collagen and elastin, they are thread-like structure. So they secrete fibers. Now, this cell also secretes a polysaccharide. So that lies between cells and fibers. So here is the cell, here is the fiber. So these polysaccharides, they lie between the cells and fibers. And they act as a matrix. Okay, here they act as a matrix or ground substance. Okay, so they lie between the cells and the fibers and act as matrix, are known as ground substance. Okay, so that is ground substance. Ground substance is more or less like a base. Okay, like how cytoplasm is present in a cell, If cytoplasm is not there, where does the nucleus will reside? Where does the cell organelle will reside? So cytoplasm is like a ground substance, like a medium, okay, like a matrix. Alright, so in the same manner, this modified polysaccharide, it acts here like a ground substance. If and over this ground substance, the cells and these fibers, they reside. Alright. So this was cell secretion of connective tissue. Now we will see connective tissues are classified into 3 different types. Loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue, and specialized connective tissue. Okay, these are the 3 types of connective tissue which are found in our body. So we will start with loose connective tissue. For the diagram, you have to refer to the textbook from page number 103, figure 7.4 and 7.5. So for loose connective tissue, you have to refer the diagram from figure 7.4a and figure 7.4b. Okay, so A refers to areolar tissue and B refers to adipose tissue. Areolar and adipose are example of loose connective tissue. Okay, so as we know that the connective tissue cells, they secrete what? They secrete fibers, right? So here, cells and fibers which are secreted by the cells. Fibers are secreted by the cells of connective tissue. So here cells and fibers are loosely packed, loosely arranged, okay, in semi-fluid ground substance. We know that the cells and fibers, just now we have drawn the diagram, cell, fiber, and in between there is a ground substance. There is a cell, there is a cell. So in between, fibers are arranged like this, and in between the ground substance are present. So what does loose connective tissue tells you? That the cells and fibers are loosely packed. So they have a wide gap between them. Okay? So wide gap is found between the cells and the fibers, and they reside in the ground substance made up of polysaccharide. So they are loosely arranged, not tightly packed. So there is a huge gap between the fibers and the cells. So that is what we call loosely packed. Okay, an example we will see first, the example of areolar tissue. Areolar tissue. Okay, so where this areolar tissue, see, areolar tissue is a loose connective tissue. Okay, we will learn about it. So where does these tissues are made up of this only, cells, fiber, ground substance. Okay, but the differences in areolar tissue, they are loosely packed. Okay, and where they are found? They are found beneath the skin. They are found beneath the skin. And what does it do? They serve as a framework. Serve support and framework. Okay, for epithelium. We know that our skin is made up of epithelial tissue. If you recall from epithelial tissue, our skin is made up of compound epithelial tissue, right? The simple epithelial tissue, they are found in the internal organs. Okay, so compound epithelial tissue, they are found in in skin, and this areolar tissue are found beneath the skin, where this areolar tissue will do the support and the framework for the epithelium. Alright? And you can just relate, like in young people, in adult, we see our skin is very tight and not shaggy, right? And why this skin is tight? Why this skin has a shape? The skin is not irregular or is not shapeless. It has a shape, right? So this skin has a shape, and it is tightened because of this areolar tissue. Now what happens in old age people, you must have seen that the skin is shaggy and too many wrinkles, and it becomes shaggy and it becomes very loose. Why? Because the areolar tissues are aging and they have aged, and because of which the areolar tissue is no more supporting the skin, and that is the reason why skin becomes very shaggy in old age. Okay, so that is the reason why supportive framework of skin is important. Now this areolar tissue, they contain fibroblast. Sorry. Okay, and what this fibroblast can do, it can produce and secrete fibers. Okay, it can produce and secrete fibers, and it also contains this fibroblast produces fiber, and these fibers are very important, we know. So they act like a supporting system, and also it contains macrophages and mast cells, and they boost our immunity. Macrophages and mast cells are part of WBC, okay, white blood cells. Macrophages are the cells and mast cells are those cells which can kill the foreign microorganism. Okay, they have a capacity of killing the foreign microorganism, so that's why they are known as immunity. They play a role in immunity. Alright, so this was areolar tissue. We'll see another example. Adipose tissue, under loose connective tissue only. Okay, adipose tissue. So this adipose tissue also lies beneath the skin. They also lie beneath the skin, and the function of this adipose tissue is they are specialized to store fat, to store fats. Okay, so right below our skin we have a fat layer. Alright, we have a fat layer right below our skin. So that fat layer is made up of adipose tissue. So adipose tissue is made up of fat cells. Okay, adipose cells, which are fat cells. And what does this fat cells they do? They store fats. Okay, and in what condition they store fats? So what happens when we eat excessively? Alright, we don't eat a balanced diet. Balanced diet means what is required for our body, and we don't eat accordingly, we eat excessively. Then what happens? The nutrients which are not immediately required by our body, those nutrients are converted into fats. Okay, so if you are eating excessively protein, if you are eating excessively carbohydrate, excessively fats, so those nutrients will not be immediately required by our body, and that nutrient, even carbohydrate can convert into fats and proteins can convert into fats. Okay, so nutrients which are not immediately used by the body, they will be converted into fats and will be deposited below our skin. Okay, in the form of adipose tissue. Okay, so that is the role of adipose tissue. So here we come to the end of the loose connective tissue. Now we'll see dense connective tissue. So dense connective tissues where fibers and fibroblasts are tightly packed. Tightly packed means compactly packed. Okay, for that we have to refer the diagram 7.5 A and B. 7.5 A and B is a diagram which shows where the fibers are very closely arranged and they are tightly packed. In that diagram itself you can see the thread-like diagram, the lines which are drawn, those lines are fibers, and the cells which are drawn. In the diagram you will see the lines are drawn. So those lines are fibers, and in between there are cell-like structures are shown. So these are fibroblasts. Okay, so these are fibers and fibroblasts. Fibers and in between fibroblast you can see. So here this fibers and fibroblasts, they are compactly, tightly packed, okay, in this type of tissue, and their pattern, this pattern of arrangement can be of two types. Okay, this pattern of arrangement of fibers and fibroblasts can be of two types. On the basis of that, we have two types of dense connective tissue on the basis of pattern of arrangement. On the basis of pattern of arrangement, we can have two types. One is regular dense connective tissue. One is irregular dense connective tissue. Okay. So the first figure which you see in 7.5a, that is a regular dense connective tissue. Okay. Example is collagen fiber, which is given. So here the fibers are arranged parallelly. In between fibroblast are there. So in between fibroblast is there, and then fibers are arranged parallelly. So this is dense connective tissue, and in irregular dense connective tissue, fibers are arranged in whichever pattern it is given, and in between fibroblast is there. They are also irregularly arranged, and fibers are arranged in random pattern. Okay, so figure A is this, figure B is this, where it is irregularly arranged. So that is on the basis of pattern of arrangement of the fibers and fibroblast. Okay, this cell is a fibroblast and this lines are fibers. So fibers and fibroblasts, they are arranged regularly in a parallel manner, in a systematic manner when they are arranged, regular dense connective tissue. And when these fibers and fibroblasts are irregularly arranged, it is irregular dense connective tissue. So that was the structure we have seen. Now we will see the lines which we were seeing, those fibers, they are known as collagen fibers. Okay, here also the lines which we have seen here and the lines which we have seen here, those fibers, I mean, those fibers which we have seen here and here, those fibers are collagen fiber. Okay, they are present in rows between many parallel bundles of fibers. Okay, so example of regular dense connective tissue, example of this collagen fibers are tendons and ligaments. So you must have heard about this tendons and ligaments. Tendons are those collagen fibers which joins muscles to bones. You know, skeletal muscle. So the muscles which are present here, they are joined with the bones. Muscles which are present in our lungs, they are joined with the bones. Intercostal muscles present between the ribs, they are joined with the rib bones. Okay, here also the muscles are joined with our bones, cheek bones. Alright, so muscles which are joined, skeletal muscles which are joined with the bones, they are joined by these tendons. Okay, what are tendons? Tendons are regular dense connective tissue, they are collagen fiber. Okay, they join muscle to bone. Whereas ligaments are also collagen fiber, regular dense connective collagen fiber which joins bone to bone. So if this is a bone and if this is a bone, they are joined by a fiber here. So and those fibers are known as ligaments. Okay, this ligaments, it joins these two bones. And if this is a muscle and this is a bone, so muscle and bones are joined by tendons. Okay, so tendons and ligaments, you should be clear. And then irregular dense connective tissue are also made up of fibers and fibroblasts. We have seen how irregularly they are arranged, and they are present in skin. Okay, irregular dense connective tissue, they are present in skin. So we are done here with the dense connective tissue. Then we will come to the specialized connective tissue. So specialized connective tissue are of three types again. Cartilage, bones, and blood. Little bit about their structure we have already seen at the beginning. How is the structure of cartilage? They are solid but they are flexible. How is bone? They are solid but they are rigid. Okay, they are not flexible. How is blood? They are liquid, fluid, in the form of fluid. Okay, so we will see that the cartilage, they are intercellular material, they are solid. Materials of cartilage are solid and pliable. Pliable means flexible. Okay, they are flexible and they resist compression. Resist compression means like if you suppose you are taking, this is a cartilage and this is a bone, okay, and if you compress cartilage with something very heavy, if you compress it, nothing will happen to cartilage. Okay, you remove the heavy substance from it, it will remain as it is. Now you are taking a bone. So if you are compressing this bone with some heavy substance, what will happen? The bone will crush. Okay, so here this cartilage, it resists compression and because they are flexible. Alright, whereas bones, okay, we'll come to bones later. We'll see the other characteristic of cartilage. So this cells of cartilage are known as chondrocytes, and these cells are present inside a small cavity. They are present in a small cavity. Inside this cavity, matrix will be there. Matrix, if you remember, the ground substance, and that matrix is secreted by the chondrocytes itself. Okay? Cartilages which are present in the embryo, this cartilages, when the embryo becomes adult, this cartilages converts into bones. Okay, it converts into bones. So in embryo, see, our fetus are very fragile, very soft tissue. Inside the mother's womb, this fetus, this embryo is very soft, where they don't have rigid bone. Okay, when this fetus is growing, they don't have rigid bone. They have cartilage in their body, and as they are growing up, as they grow up and they become adult, this cartilages, they convert into bone. Now, the entire cartilage would not convert into bone. See, in adults also we have cartilage, right? Where do we find cartilage? At the tip of the nose. Here we have cartilage, alright. And here at the external ear, this is the external ear which joins with the here with the muscles here with the help of this cartilage. Okay, here we have cartilage in the external ear. Alright, external ear is made up of cartilage, and then also in our vertebral column. Okay, in our backbone also cartilage is present. Alright, in the adjacent limbs and hands we also have cartilage. So this is what was about the cartilage. Now we will come to bones. So how is bone? Bone is hard, non-pliable. Pliable means flexible. Non-pliable ground substance. They can't be bent. Bones can't be bent. So we can bend our back because of, we can bend our back. but our back is made up of bone. So how can we bend our back? Because of the presence of cartilage. How we can bend our nose and ears? It is because of the cartilage. But can we bend our cheek? No. Can we bend our skull? No, because bones are rigid. Okay. So wherever we can bend our bones, there cartilages are present. In our limbs, we can bend our fingers, we can bend our feet because cartilages are present because of the tendons and ligaments also. So next, these bones are rich in salts, calcium salts. Bones are made up of calcium salts and collagen fiber. Okay, and this calcium salt and collagen fiber, they provide strength, and that is why bones are very hard. Okay, and what is the role of bones? They provide a structural framework to our body. You can imagine our body without bone. How will be? Will be a bag of muscle, right? Muscle tissue thrown in the, will be lying down on the floor and will cripple like earthworm, right? So that's why we have bone, and because of that bone we have our shape. The shape of hand, shape of face, all the shape of our body is because of our bones. Okay, so it gives a structural framework to our body, and also it provides support and protection. How? Protection. So rib cage, you see, rib cage is providing protection to heart, lungs and internal organs, right? And skull is providing protection to our brain. So this brains, they also provide protection to our softer tissue. To our soft tissue, it provides protection. And then the cells of bones are known as osteocytes. Cells of bones are known as osteocytes, and they are also present in a cavity known as lacunae. They are present in a cavity called lacunae. Okay, and where these bones are present, it's present almost in every part of our body except the abdomen. Except the abdomen, it is present in every part of our body. So limbs of our legs, leg bones, they play a role of weight bearing. Leg bones, they actually bear the weight of our body, right? So limbs of legs, they bear the weight of our body, and bones also join with bones interact with skeletal muscle for what? For movement. Okay, so the movement what we do with our legs and with our hands, it is not only the bones, it is a collaborative work of bone and muscle. Bone and muscle together, they work to do the movement anywhere, okay, of our body. And then we have our bones are hollow inside. See, if this is our bone, they are hollow inside. Space is there inside our bone. Okay, so in this space, we call that space as bone marrow. Okay, bone marrow in some bones, not all bones, but in some bones, bone marrow, they have a capacity of producing blood cells. Bone marrow produces blood cells. So that means bones and blood is related. Even cartilage and bones are related. How? In embryo, cartilage is present, and when embryo becomes adult, cartilage converts into bone. So they all are related. Okay, bone, they produce blood cells. So we have seen the structure of bone and the function of bone, and we will now see blood. The last, connective tissue. Okay, so blood is a fluid connective tissue. Okay, blood is a fluid connective tissue. And it contains, you are very familiar with this blood, plasma, RBC, red blood cells, we also call erythrocyte, WBC, white blood cells, white blood corpuscles, leukocyte, and platelets we call thrombocytes. Okay, and is the circulating fluid, main circulating fluid. In our body we have two types of fluid. Okay, blood and lymph. Blood and lymph we have, but lymph does only one-way circulation and it's a very slow circulation, whereas blood is the main circulating fluid which immediately supplies the oxygen, immediately supplies the nutrients to our tissue. So it is the main circulating fluid and it helps in transporting various substances such as oxygen, nutrients, hormones. Okay, all these important substances are transported by this blood. So in your syllabus we have to learn up to this portion only in this chapter. I mean, in further we'll learn more about blood and bones and muscles in upcoming chapters in human physiology. So here we come to the conclusion of connective tissue. So we have completed two tissues of animal, that is epithelial and connective tissue. Please go through it, and if you have any doubt, please immediately ask me. Don't keep it pending. Alright, so that all your doubts and queries will pile up. Thank you for having me here and listening to my video patiently, and have a good day ahead.